let's call this meeting to order. Can I have a motion to adopt the agenda with flexibility, please?
Motion to accept the agenda with flexibility.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any additions or corrections to the minutes from the previous meeting? Seeing none?
Motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting. I don't have the date.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. New business, right-of-way applications. Is representative from NIPSCO here?
Well, she said that she was gonna be here at every meeting.
All right.
She might be here yet.
Okay.
Okay.
They might make it.
Agenda if somebody shows up.
That's fine.
We had a bid on the,
So that's the Adam I thought was here.
what did you say?
Sam said Adam's here, and I thought she was talking about Adam Castle, not Adam Music, and I was confused.
We sent the packets out to finish up. This is where we've had the tile plugged a couple times. We replaced it from the pond. We had issues down across the road. This is the last section, not very long section, but I'd like to get this done so it's all new from the pond to the open ditch. It was always in the plan to do. We're hoping to get, we're actually doing this tile in reverse order, how we like to do it, but because the way it went, we put, three working packets out, received two back, one from, Mervyn Yoder, one from Adam Castle, there, so, both contractors do good work, you guys can, decide if you want to do it too.
This is the one south of 20, just off 200 East. Okay.
If it's from Jerry, Yoder has a house back.
Right.
Basically from his ditch by his house up to the road, we've already crossed the road, we take it from the road to the pond. This is the
Okay.
last section of old concrete that, I think we can get it done before it breaks. We've already done this tile system, road walk out, we just saved a lot of money, we just take care of time it long a couple of times, you guys are aware of this, and to close the road, it's a big mess, so, this is hopefully the last phase of that section.
I move to award the bid for the number 10 Stoner to Adam Castle.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to award the bid to Adam Castle for $18,020. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next on the agenda, we have a speaker today, want to be up on the board. He's a longtime resident, county, lives on the BZA board, nice commission president, and I believe he's the mayor of Oliver Lake. Well, self-proclaimed. Lynn Bowles here today,
That's Pat Wiltshire.
he has a small.
Or Vince.
He has a small, and, he wants to speak down here too, so if you guys don't mind, here's Lynn, they talk about some, I guess it's buy a car bag for the.
Yeah, Zach told me I had to come to you guys, or,
Name, address for it.
yes. Lynn Bowen, 1155E 455S, LaGrange, Indiana, 46761. The first slide that you see up there is the three lakes that, I represent a group called Greater Olin Lakes, Inc. We are a nonprofit, conservation group that, trying to look over our watershed as opposed to a homeowners group that looks specifically at issues on the lake.
That's the watershed, right?
The first slide that you see up there are the three lakes. That's Olin. Oh, I can even, oh, maybe I can. That's Martin Lake, Olin Lake, and Oliver Lake. We have about a 7,200 acre watershed. Let's see here. This is smarter than I am. No. No. Oh, there we go. The next picture actually shows the watershed. And you can see that we go clear over to Adams Lake, right on the border. And then the lakes to the south are the Five Lakes chain. That'd be Dallas, Easy, Hackenberg, and our water actually dumps into Hackenberg Lake. We are at the headwaters of the Little Elkhart River. Okay, this is I can't see that very well, can you? Okay.
Can you make it up a little bit bigger, Sam? Over the top, there's a plus mark. Side page 3.
And I can't see it at all. Great eyes. So,
Lynn,
yes.
Will you set the cursor down so Sam can blow that up?
I can. Probably just carrying that because I'm nervous.
Nope, to the in the center of the screen.
Oh.
Right there.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay, the first slide that you see here is, we've been doing some water testing over the last 2 years. We actually are cooperating with St. Joe River Basin Group. That's here, I see. And we've done some water testing over the last few years. This is the test results for September. We do it monthly from April to October. And you can see we've been testing 3 inlets to the lake: Dove Creek, which is on the northwest corner of the lake; Winglings, we call it Winglings Ditch, which actually is an unnamed ditch, and the Burkhart Ditch. The Burkhart comes down
This is
to
where they're.
Buckhart's property, Terry McKibben, on into the lake. I feel a little bit, yeah, some of it's borders oil property. Wingling, or the unnamed ditch, comes down from McKibben's, Midway Farm, and so forth. And then Dove Creek has probably the biggest watershed. It's mostly Amish now. But E. coli has been high in all, in 2 of the streams. Orthophosphates high in 2, total phosphates high in 2, suspended solids high, nitrates high. Dissolved oxygen has been fair in all of the ditches. There's almost no flow in Dove Creek. Burkhart flows fast. 2.8 feet per second, I think, is the flow rate now. This always happens around here. Okay.
I don't think that's scrolling, but I
That's
can
not,
scroll.
next one, you can scroll for me, then go ahead, yeah, go to the next slide. These are all things that we measure the flow, we measure the water temperature, we measure the air temperature, and we measure the pH. Those really, the coldest, or the cold parts, because I believe it's spring fed, it comes out fast. Go ahead, go to the next one. This is a graph of 2023, 2024, and 2025. Put this down. And it just shows, this shows the nitrate levels that are coming into the lake. The highest one is the unnamed ditch. That's the one that comes off of the Laurel property. Orthophosphates are high in Dove Creek, which has almost no flow where we're testing. Watershed. And again, we have quite a bit of orthophosphate coming into the lake from unnamed ditch. Suspended solids, same thing. Dove Creek high, Windling high, and Burkhart's not too bad. Total phosphorus, again, we're high in this particular year in Dove and Windling's ditch. And, so I'm here today to talk to you about something called a Biostar sock. It's a mesh tube. It's got charcoal-like material in it. We put the thought is to put those in a couple of the streams, see if it can filter out some of the stuff that's coming into the lake, and reduce the amount of flow in there. We're mainly concerned about phosphorus and nitrogen because of the potential for algae blooms. We did have an algae bloom, not this last summer, but the summer before. So that's what we're trying to help prevent. We know that there is something called legacy phosphorus in the lake also. So we're trying to get the boaters to be a little bit more cognizant of the shallow areas on the lake. That's difficult. Especially among certain groups of boaters. We're trying to get them not to release that phosphorus into the water system. You can go to the next one. What the biochar does for us is it filters out heavy metals, nutrients. It can help with sediment and turbidity, organic pollutants and bacteria. With fine grain biochar, I don't know that we would use fine grain biochar because we don't want to slow the water down. And I'm not really too concerned about E. coli myself because, you know, it gets out in the lake and so you don't let your dog drink the stream. I'm more concerned about what the sediment is holding as it flows into the lake. You can go ahead again. So over time, the biochar will become saturated. So we have to dispose of it or repurpose it. The contamination risk is potentially a problem, but we have somebody on the lake who's actually on the board who he and his brother are experimenting with making biochar. They make their own charcoal. They're experimenting with some of it in their farm fields and their gardens. You just have to really monitor, you have to really pay attention to your process and the type of wood that you use, because you can make biochar out of anything. You can make it out of where you can make it out of all kinds of things, as long as it works. But we want to make it out of a wood. It seems like white pine is the best one to do for this, but right now they're doing it with hardwoods out of their woods, cherry, oak, those kind of things. Go ahead, next one. And that's what the biochar bag looks like. Ours would be much smaller because we're just thinking about doing the 2 inlets on the east side first. Dove Creek is very wide where we're doing testing right now. We're not exactly sure how we would do that. I'll have to go further up into the watershed to find a place to do that. But what we're thinking right now is just putting a bag or 2 in the inlets. Smaller bags than that. I don't know, inlets are probably off display right now. Where we would put them. One of the inlets would be the unnamed ditch, and it gets flow from the camp, Peterman's Camp, from the southeast, and then it joins the ditch from Boyles, and that's the spot that we want to put the biochar bags in on that one. The other one, probably at the back of the property of the Krauses, if we can get permission from him to do that. That one is a regulated drain, whereas Boyles is an unregulated drain. Okay. The spent biochar will be tested and disposed of appropriately. Sometimes it can be regenerated and reused or incinerated or disposed of in a landfill. But we want to make sure that is the main thing we want to make sure of is that there are no heavy metals in the biochar and whatever might be absorbed while they're in the water. And you go to the next one. And this is just a little video. It's like 2 minutes. Can you play that from there? Oh, you can't. He told me that was not going to happen this time. I'm not an IT guy. Okay. Well, what this shows, if you can imagine it being there, it shows a couple of guys out on the lake, and they have a handful of biochar, and it looks like charcoal. And this group is actually, they're not only putting them in streams and inlets, they're also suspending them from people's ears. I don't know if that's really something you want to do. But what we want to do is put the biochar in the streams and then measure next year to see if it works. We would like to make this into a science experiment, just to see if it would reduce the amount of nutrients going into the lake, filter out some of the E. coli, but mainly the nitrogen and the phosphorus to absorb that. So we would put them in the spring and do our series of measurements over the months during the summertime and see if it actually does reduce the amount of pollutants that are coming into the lake. If it does, then we might try to expand the program, go over to Dove Creek. there's a fairly good sized ditch that comes into Martin Lake. Its access is a little bit difficult. There's a ditch that comes into Olden Lake from the Danny Levis' old property where he used to have his horses and so forth. There's a ditch there. That one's regulated.
Which ones are under, I mean, I assume you're asking us because they're under our control.
Yes.
Which ones are regulated? Which ones are ours?
Bernhardt is regulated. Most of Dove Creek is regulated. That's also called Caldwell Ditch. The Boyle one is not regulated. That's an unnamed ditch. Sarah Peel, one of our consultants, couldn't even find a name for it. And I think she knows every ditch in the town. So we're participating in, right now we got a diagnostic study done, an update to our original one, and we're now looking for vendors to do a feasibility and engineering study. So some of the stuff might be taken care of by the feasibility and engineering study that we're having done. Well, we'll have done. 3 vendors have responded to me so far out of 5. I think that's pretty good. But we'd like to be proactive and see if this idea might has any merit. The DNR guy that we talked to is a little skeptical of it, but I mean, it's wood, it's charcoal, it's bag. It's not real expensive. We can afford to do it. So if it might work, it might work. I don't know. Matt might know something about that. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to call it out. Anyway, so that's my presentation. Just looking for for permission to do that in the regulated drains. We would not do Dove Creek because where we're measuring, it's probably, it's at least 20 feet across. And
That's a lot of bags.
that's a lot of bags. And in that area, there's just no flow. It only flows in this area during rain events, and then it flows hard. But part of it's an elevation thing too. So we have to go further up into the watershed to find a different spot.
You don't want to? Okay. Joan, how do you feel about it? You want to sleep on it? You want to watch the video later? Do you want to?
You can find this on YouTube.
I can't
Oh,
see.
yeah.
I can't see what trouble it would cause.
I just don't want to, as long as it doesn't restrict the flow of water.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't
Yeah,
create-
Because that's
what we
a,
don't want to do.
yeah, don't do that.
We know we don't want to restrict flow of water.
Zach, when was the last time any of those were cleaned? Do you have that off the top of your head?
So, when you're just looking at, for next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
One regulated drain,
Okay.
yes.
So the drain he's wanting to do it on comes off the Kivens and comes out pretty fast. And if it restricts flow, it basically is affecting just the lake lot owners down there. Drive, is my opinion, because that's where the flattens out with flood. It wouldn't put any water back on the neighbor farm, I believe. So I don't see causing a problem for farmers or upstream landowners to do the downstream right around and put the bags that way.
Because there's enough fall.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
flat enough, the water will find a way around. It all flattens out through like a big wetland system. I don't see a problem with it. I'm interested to see if they do it on one, manage it potentially, and have compare it, see if it does work and has any merit. Then maybe they could expand it and put more money into it. But it'd be kind of cool to see if it does work in this area, because I don't think it's going to cause a problem or drain in that specific spot on that drain at this point in time. But if it doesn't work, then obviously we'll find out how to expand it. If it does work, it's something like, well, how can we looking to be doing this more? I don't know.
Okay.
It won't be one of those things where you do it more. Our next question is who's going to do one? No big deal. You start doing 5 or 6. Who maintains them? Who checks them? Who monitors these things? So, but I think we look at it first. And if one thinks it's valuable and may with those test results by this time next year, I think we'll have a better picture of the stuff that we're looking into. But I do have concerns, but not in a specific area at this point in time. So.
Tony, you have a comment, question?
Well, I was just gonna kind of tag along what Zach just said. Personally, I think I agree with everything he just said. I'm really intrigued by it. I think it sounds like a great idea.
Sorry.
Todd.
You guys don't have me here for my personal opinions though. So from a legal standpoint, obviously a couple concerns with what are short-term issues or long-term risks of this, since it's kind of unknown. Probably want to check maybe with insurance to make sure there's coverage if there is something that comes about this. Is there an unregulated drain that you could test first?
Oh, yes, there is.
Okay.
That's the one that has the most stuff in it.
Okay,
That's one that comes off of boil. So there's animal pressure on that one. There's no animal pressure that I can see really, not at least much less on the regulated drain. Okay. There's a lot of animal pressure on Duck Creek, lots of it. So
obviously the board doesn't have any control over unregulated, so I mean, if they test there and
And get good
find something
results.
there, then give us the results, then maybe that's.
That's-
something to
that's
consider
actually-
in the future.
Really good idea.
we can do that because that is the worst stream. It does have a little flow.
Matt
September,
has some.
September, there was only about that much water in the creek.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit hard to get samples, but Rob Bollinger and I are doing the samples, so I think we know what we're doing.
Lynn, how often do you
Matt,
test these?
Once a month,
Once a month?
once a month.
How long do they have to be in the water before you test them?
The bags?
Yes.
The bags, we would change out anywhere from 6 months to a year.
Oh.
And we would be responsible for any maintenance.
Mhm.
We would be responsible for clearing out A7. I think we would be responsible for all those
Sure.
kinds of things, making sure that it works.
How much does the bag cost?
That's what I was gonna ask.
It's a total of, Greg and his brother are gonna donate the biochar, so, it's cents. It's gonna be $20, $30 to put a bag in. And it's really an inexpensive way, and, you know, I'm a scientist, so I like science.
Matt,
Science geek.
Matt, you had a question or comment?
Sam, can you go back to the map? Can you show us which?
Okay, yeah, sure.
I was gonna ask her to go to Beacon to see it.
Or either way that.
I don't.
Where's it at?
Okay, Okay, right now, this is the
Okay, so-
unregulated ditch right there, okay? And then
It's
you
gotta be
can see
around
that
here
comes
somewhere.
off of, let's see, the Firstburger,
No, it's
Boyles,
Danny's.
McKibben's,
I gotta go.
Not the one coming from the due north, the one that's coming.
and that is the
From
other
the
one,
north.
that's the regulated.
Okay.
And that-
There
that
it is.
starts out
There's
at Wild
Melvin's.
Cards, it comes down
But that's
south
regulated.
Here in McKibben's, and he had a.
I think it's this one. There's two that come together, he said.
Okay. Okay.
But that one,
See, this
he
is the
told me
regulated
once upon a
version.
time
Yeah,
that
the
that
blue line, but I think
ditch
there's
used to
another
go
one.
over to the Dove
I
Creek.
was
This is
thinking
Dove
of
Creek.
here.
And you can
Looks
see
like that's,
Quinn
no.
right there. It's much more expansive. And most of that is regulated. That one goes clear up to 300 south. The other big drain is down here, at least for me anyways, down here. It goes into Marvin. I can't remember the name of that one. But access to that one is a little more difficult because that's
Wait a
it's
moment.
a pretty wild ground out there.
I think you should.
That's the, I think that's the Truman, Lynn.
Yes, that is Truman Flint.
Truman Flint, yeah.
Truman Flint, you got it. So, but you know, that's off the plate right now. We just, you know, these two are easy to get to. They're narrow. And if we can just do one of them, that's fine. Do the unregulated ditch. That's a good idea. And see what comes out of that. And then, go from there.
We don't, I'm getting the general feeling from the board, they don't want to make a decision today.
That's fine. That's fine.
So I think it's really interesting
Okay.
and, if the charcoal making goes out, you should, maybe get with Creekside Sawmill because they have a lot of white pine slab wood laying by
Okay.
the road.
Okay.
Maybe they could make white pine charcoal out of.
Greg Bloom is the, person that's making the biochar. He has farm ground, I think, in Milton County.
Yeah.
Milton County?
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Okay.
I would just, it's intriguing, sounds interesting.
Mhm.
I'm sure you and Dr. Bollinger know that one summer's worth of study is not necessarily scientific. There's a whole lot of variables in there.
Oh,
Like
yeah, absolutely.
number one being rainfall. None of us can control that.
And, you
So,
know, we've been doing measurements now for 3 years, I think, in this program, maybe just 2 now. Before we did a little bit of experimenting with some measurements, not as well organized. And yes, and I realized, you know, but
you have to start
we
somewhere.
get an effect out of it, especially out of the unnamed ditch, the one that comes off of Boyles, midway there, where they have some cattle in the pond right there sometimes. And also boils have some cattle along the ditch there too. That could be a significant reduction. And there's legacy phosphorus in there too.
Yeah.
And it, even in the deepest part of the lake, they measured, and there's some kind of a process going on down there with, where the phosphorus is getting released because of the type of bacteria at the bottom of the lake. So we know we're not gonna solve anything with this, but we would like to help try and help reduce it. Because the lake has gotten cloudier over the last few years, especially old.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Interesting.
Okay, next on the agenda, we extended the Baker tile from 1100 west up to 700 south there to Mr. Kevin Chubb's property. This is when we bid out last late spring, winter time, early spring. Had a plan, talked to Mr. Chubb, had a change of plans of where we're gonna locate the tile. Went that route, got the tile in, it's across 700. I think it's in good shape, working well, but Mr. Chubb, I reached out a couple of times about concerns with this. I said at this point, I'd like to address the board directly. I think he called Sandy on the agenda, Kevin Chubb's here today. I think, Kevin, you'd like to address the board? Concerns? I'd like to let Kevin Chubb speak for now for a while, so Kevin, just take your name and address for the record and talk to the board about concerns.
Kevin Chubb, 7125 south, 1100 west, Millersburg. First off, we'll backtrack here a little bit to a couple of years ago when we made it up to 1100 there. I was told it'd be a couple of years until we had the money again to continue on with it. I didn't bother to reach out to anybody, but I see in the minutes that it was blamed on me for not reaching out and making contact as to why we weren't continuing on with it. I thought that'd be reached out to me once we had the money, and we could go from there. Not getting calls back when I call into people, not getting text messages back when I call into people. So I don't think communication is really on my end. The issue with the trees, did I want the trees taken out? No. I really wanted them to stay there where they thought the tile, there's more than enough room to bring the tile down the middle without taking out. Some trees would have to leave, yes, but not all of them. And it's been a much easier project. But I was told if we took the tile out to the field to leave the trees, that we wouldn't bring my field tile in from the other side. That'd be my responsibility to connect it. So that's why I said, okay, fine, take the trees out. Obviously, they ran into a lot bigger issue getting those trees out of that clay than what they thought they were going to run into, because it took them a lot longer. That's mean soil there. It's not like it's up here. I mean, trees don't blow over in that area. They break off, but they don't blow over. They don't uproot in that soil. But anyways, we're in now, but we started a fire to try to burn the brush with 45-mile-an-hour wind, start my cornfield on fire. Granted, the corn was out of it. We asked for 6 rows to be taken out at 24% moisture. We took out 12, and yet we still got into the corn. We still put a brush pile some 90 feet away from the tile and dug out there. We've driven through the field and made ruts out into the field, hundreds of feet away from where the tile was put in. The field tile, I think, was just set on top of we backfilled with topsoil and roots. There's plenty of roots down in that backfill and some rocks. And I have video of all of this. We didn't hook the field tile up beforehand. We did that afterwards. So unless we dug out by hand, all we did is put my field tile up on top, which might work for the field drainage, but it's not going to work for the tile coming out of the house. It has 2 sump pumps in it in the springtime that pump pretty consistently.
So they put it in the trees, the going out.
They took out all the trees. All the trees have been removed. And like I said, they started backfill, put a couple feet of backfill in before they ever hooked any field tile in. And then all of a sudden, supposedly the field tile's in there, but I think it's just laying there on top. And I don't think that might work for the field drainage. I question whether it will or not, to be honest with you. But it definitely is not going to work for the tiles coming out of the house that has 2 sump pumps in it. I'd like to say in the springtime, those belts run all the time. So I have a feeling we're going to have a flood basement. I also don't understand when we cross over the road, why we put our catch basin higher than the culvert crossing the road. The catch basin's not much higher than the culvert crossing the road. The water's gonna cross the road before it goes into that catch basin. We have another standpipe up on 1100 that we have now, because we moved that tile instead of following the tile like we were supposed to. We moved that tile out some 20 feet and put a standpipe there, and then we dug a ditch from the road to that standpipe. That's not gonna drain anything, because the water didn't come from there. The water comes from the other direction into that. So why we dug all that out, unless we did it to get topsoil, cover up our subsoil that was on top. It's a mess.
I'd like to hear Zach's response.
I'd be more than happy to walk it with somebody if they wanna come out and walk it.
So is it going, they replaced it from north to south and what, south, north, where was it, where did we come that we stopped last time?
Stuff 1100
1100 West,
on
okay.
this, on the east side, on Kevin's, just on Kevin's property there. That was stuff in tile.
And that's the downside, right?
Best practice is start downstream, work upstream.
For sure.
Houses, and sometimes it breaks here, you got, but overall, it's in upstream, downstream, downstream, upstream.
And that old cement tile is actually still flowing water, even in the drought, it's flowing water now. The old cement tile was.
And
That's
the,
neither here nor there.
and the trees that were removed are on that angled yellow line there, correct?
All down through there, that whole line was a tree line.
Okay.
That.
And that's in the,
angled line now is not where that tile lies, because they just crossed that line.
and that's in the drainage right of way, correct, Zach?
You're still under 70 foot, yes. I'm not arguing that at all. That's not the point.
I'd like to hear Zach's response to some of these things. I know Merv typically does pretty good work, so I'm curious.
You have a question, Mr. Chuck?
No,
I don't have
Not
any.
this time.
Okay, I believe this is the updated shape file, Corey, is that correct? So that yellow line is shot by survey grade GPS. That line is exactly where the tile's at today. So.
The new one, the new
one that just
tile.
got put in.
Okay.
You shoot that as it's being put in. Survey grade GPS, we know where it's at, elevation wise and location. We have to locate that in the future. For any purposes, let's say Kevin Stone's to retile that field and it's 20 years later, they can look that up and flag exactly that tile's at if you can't find it that day. Obviously, this one's in a swale, they kind of know where it's at, but other fields that get bought and sold over time, how deep is it, where's it at? I met with Mr. Kevin last fall, we're trying to get a plan together, because we're gonna design this and bid it out for winter time for this next spring, which is this last spring. When I talked to Mr. Chuck, I said, the old tile's right in these trees. If we put it here, I informed him we can't leave the trees. And the trees were big enough and close enough to the trench, we weren't gonna leave any of them. So he said, well, I like to keep my trees. And I said, that's fine. I said, why don't we get a plan together to go outside that tree line? So he said, yep, can I still farm over it? I said, I prefer you farm over it so trees don't grow on the tile. He said, yep, that's fine. This was last fall. Corey went out, shot just outside the tree line, go along the field. We're just gonna basically shift it over, 30 feet or so. When it came time to put the tile in this last, I contacted him in the springtime and said, hey, what's the plan to get started? He goes, well, where's it going? I said, it's going where we discussed last fall. We designed it. He goes, well, I don't want it there anymore. I want it back to where it's at right now. I said, well, we'll have to, I came to you guys as a board. How do you want to do it? He said, is there a promise? And no, we'll have to incur some more costs during that area. I don't care. It's got to go in. You're there. It's easier to go over the field. But if you want it there, we'll put it there. And I'm okay with it there. If we didn't incur some extra cost, trees definitely, obviously, did come up hard. I don't expect they would because it's like concrete to explain it there. Cleared the trees, which is more money for us, more work for the contractor. They put the tile in. I'm not sure how much feet regular drain that Kevin's put in or seen go in. I have seen thousands of feet go in and put in. I was out there on a daily basis every other day near Quarry, watching it, asking how things were going. At the beginning, it was hard digging because it was hard. Talk to Merv. It was bedded in stone. They don't put big clay chunks back on top of the tile, so if they use topsoil on top of the stone or next to it, that's what they use to bed it in. As far as the hookups, our big concern was getting up to 700 before it started raining hard, because the rain's hard out there. Kevin knows as well as I know, this place gets messy fast. Even a little quarter inch or half inch of rain, everything turns to greasy mud. So the big goal is to get to 700 and come back and hook in the laterals after they got up to 700. I believe that was done. I talked to Merv, the contractor, about that, and getting hooked in. And the contractors hooking laterals all the time. And if it's clean or flowing water, they always hook them in. Now, if it's full of dirt or half full of dirt, or if sometimes they just happen to miss one, we'll know quick time in the springtime after rain event. Kevin can call me and say, hey, there's something hooked up. Contractor can go back out, we'll dig up and investigate what we might have missed. That's our responsibility, put the strain back in. So if we did perhaps miss one, if we do not know, nobody can prove, the contractor does not missing them, because he don't want to come back and hook them back up later. It's not costing him to do so, nor does he like his work to say, oh, I missed something. So I know the contractor wants to do a good job based on future work for the county, individuals in the community. So I put faith in these contractors. I always stuck between 3 or 4 contractors to do jobs because I trust them. Other contractors I don't pay any attention to or give me bid packs, because I've seen their work prior. My predecessor gave them bids. So I don't think there was a lot of things being said out there. I know Mr. Chubb said that it's above the old tile. I've been out there multiple times at the road. They're about 18 inches below the old tile, 16, 18 inches below the old one. Got shots to verify that because I knew they were questioning it. Nothing was done outside the norm of what we do in any kind of drain project. So I was confused. I've never had this many complaints or concerns putting a regulated drain in, and I put thousands of feet in as a county surveyor here in the last 7 years. So I've been out there as far as the fires and the burning the trees. I mean, some of this was, I didn't want to take down the trees. And there, just so you know, there's no way we're going to put that tile back in the old tiles and they'll save those trees. They were just too close, too big. Just not realistic. I like trees. I like to save them, but putting the tile there was not going to be, if you wanted to really put the tile in the field, we could have saved the trees. But he said he wanted back where the old one's at, which is fine too. So we did that. We sent Mr. Chubb a letter. He did not respond, I guess, Tony, is that correct, to our time period with letter format?
I have no response on the order.
Yep, so at that point in time, yeah, Kevin, if the board has questions, they can ask you.
Corey or Zach, saying that there are tracks hundreds of feet out of the right of way, did you see anything like that?
I have not
I'm
been
curious.
down there in the last week or so, since I was down on completion of the project when they got the cost for this last one was there. So I can go out and check for tracks, that's a complaint. Use our contractor, no problem cleaning up areas disturbed or leveling back out if there's concern. Obviously, the ground has to be set to do so. If it's muddy, obviously we can't level hardly make tracks in mud. So if there are concerns, I'd like to go and visit them and see what they are. And I also had a contractor, Mr. Mervyn Yoder, who put the tile in and gave me questions for the contractor specifically that I may not be able to answer on this project.
Zach, what about his concern about the storm riser that's above the culvert? Is that
So this system is undersized for the whole thing because of the outlet. So all these areas, we have the tile runs in springtime runs clear full, plumb full. The surface culverts at a 700 and 1100 take the surface water the tile can't handle. It flows like a river very temporarily for half a day or a couple hours. So if the culvert's flowing, the tile's full. And as we go further to the north, this last stretch, north 700, we're hoping this works a little. I'm leery about it because the soil type's a little different, but that we won't have quite as much surface flow if the tile is in good condition and the surface ground can be dried out versus saturated. Because when the ground's saturated, it rains, everything flows off. If the ground is drier, can handle more water, it has more of absorption storing ability and absorb it. So I'd like to see how the system works in the spring. Obviously, there's always a following year to put the tile system, how it's going to work. I know it's a heck of a lot better than the old system. I know it's deeper. I know it's going to flow better. Now, it's going to work. Is it going to take everything all the time? No, it's not going to be perfect because we need a 24-inch tile here that's going to be taking all the water all the time. You can't afford that, nor do we have an outlet for it. So I can drive out there with these. If Mr. Chubb wants to put in writing his concerns of that, I can go out and investigate those concerns. If I want them in writing, emailed to me or mailed to me or written down and delivered to me, then I can go out and investigate it and address them, how concerning they are and a time frame, and I can have a chance to address it with the contractor. But I have to see those written down first.
I think that's fair. It's never pretty when there's tiling projects going on. Most farmers are elated when tiles get updated and improved, so I guess I would encourage you to hang in there. It probably will get better.
Well, like I say, is my tile connected or is it laying on top?
The tile from the basement,
My field tile that I put in and the tile coming out of draining my house, is it on top? Or is it actually connected in?
I would,
If it's clean, open, if it's clean tile, they find it, it's open, or not dirt,
is that Murph?
we hook them up. If it's got dirt in it, usually the contractor will call me and say, hey, let me have this, and typically if it's got dirt in it, tiled over, perforated tile, stored it really good, so water can still leach into the new tile, but it's not a direct connection, dumping dirt into my perforated tile. That's the last thing I want in there.
which is an approved practice. We don't want to hook up half-full tiles with,
Well, it's like you were saying that your big concern is especially the tile coming from your house, and I understand that 110%. There's no reason why that tile wouldn't be clean, because it's probably a sump pump in your basement, I assume. So, I mean, it's the only thing coming in is just water. I mean, you're not gonna have dirt coming in from your basement or your house. There's no way that's gonna happen.
Murph, would you be willing to comment on that, please, on this concern?
Mervyn Mueller, 8610 East, 50 North. Concerning the subject about connecting laterals, the laterals are all connected that we found. And they're connected. We drill the hole with a proper size hole saw and use the proper tap tee, we call them tap tee, and connect them. And all of the laterals were connected with proper size tile. There was one lateral that was a 5-inch. 5 inch is not both sides for a tile guy. We put 6 on. So it is connected with a 6-inch into the main tile.
so you didn't find any that were half full of dirt or anything?
They did have,
Okay,
it varied. None of them were more than half full.
okay.
All of them were velvet slightly, but we're still usable.
Okay.
It's a normal size in the head. But they were white plastic. I think they're good lateral. A few had a little water in it. But they are all hooked in. We have a total of 6 laterals hooked in on the top side.
Thank you. Tony, did you have some? Okay.
So, if you guys have more questions for me, my request probably for Mr. Chubb, if you'd like to complaints, categorize those on a list, I can go out and inspect those, and then I can report back to you guys, those concerns, whether large concerns, small concerns. Obviously, if it's we don't have these projects, I know what a large concern is, what will not be, so, I guess that's all I have to say, let's get more questions for me.
Zach, I'm just gonna follow up. If there is an issue in the spring, and that's probably happened on drain tiles that you've done before, you go back, take a look at it, and try to make it right, correct?
Typically, the landowner calls me and says, hey, something hooked up and I missed something, which does happen. They're digging in dirt, sometimes, luckily, we have good conditions, so the tile is dry. And so, but if something, you can only tell real quick in springtime, it's because water boiling out of the ground.
Looks like a garden hose about 3 inches under the surface.
So we put a stake in the ground, flag it. We're not digging it up right then because it's a mess. We have to wait till the water goes down and dig it up and then find a connection. And get that's not fun. It won't be fixed that day, but just like, and we wait till it dries down. So we've done it in the past. Don't do a lot of them because contractors they use are pretty keen on getting hooked up. The last thing we do is come back and haul their ass to get out there, hook in, or figure out a tap fee. You know, it's hard work for others. So.
Excellent.
Okay, moving on from Baker. Old business. I got a few things I want to talk to you guys about real fast. We got 15 minutes to round up. I was called out yesterday, just to a power pole location out on 300. You remember the lady that was here discussing
That
that?
said she was gonna be here at every meeting. Yeah, that's what she said.
They called me out there. We'll know as soon as I can meet. And the next 15 minutes work. I said, yep. So I left the office, went out there. The contractor putting the poles in had no idea that pole needed to be moved, relocated. Nobody corresponded any kind of information. And basically the pole needs to move about 15 feet over, move the guide wires over, and then we have no conflict. But this is, just so you're aware, when I told you all this stuff, I wasn't lying or making it up, I was exaggerating. I was under delivering what truly is, because the contractors were really upset. It's like, nobody told us one thing. They're actually digging a hole right next to the old one, to use the same guide wires. I said, absolutely not. I said, I'm not okay with it, drainage board's not okay with it, so they're gonna plan together. I just want to update you, that's what you're dealing with, when these people come and say, oh, yeah, we'll take costs. I don't buy any of it from this, though, so just update on that, how comical it is. When I said it was gonna happen, happened exactly like I said it, so, use that for it. Cume drain update, I went for the commissioners on Monday, delivered a little, presentation to the Cume Drain Fund. To be honest with you, I don't think they understand how it all works in detail, nor they reached out to me to learn about it. And they can do that, they don't have to. It did allow me to go in front of council with no recommendation, it sounded like, to basically present it and get some ideas and feedback. As it sits right now, the council I know is not gonna be for it because of the way it falls within the property tax levy, not outside the property tax levy. So we're gonna work to see if we could remove that or give the county the option, would they get behind it? And if they would, then I will pursue that avenue to try to find a way to remove that from the property tax levy as a Cume Drain Fund in its own source.
You're talking about getting that changed at Indianapolis,
Correct.
and you've talked to Senator Glick?
Correct.
That's the problem with the cumulative drain fund. When it comes off the property taxes, you hit that cap. And that's the cumulative drain fund goes, that's all in one pool. So that you hit the property tax cap before the county would get nearly enough money to even go to the cume fund. Am I wrong?
No, why?
No, I'm asking, like, I'm,
That's what I had been afraid.
that's what we're going to hit it.
So
When we talked about that with Elkhart County and all the folks at the round table.
you guys want to know what the circuit breaker was, okay? I found out what that is.
Thank you.
So we are at max property tax levy in LaGrange County currently. So if we were trying to get the $800,000 we're trying to gain, we'd have to take it from the county general out of the sheriff's Tyson's office.
That ain't gonna
Not
happen.
very popular. On the other hand, we are below our max cap on income tax in LaGrange County. That also goes to county general. The max for that is 2.5%. We're at 1.6%. Talking to the finance person down at the Indianapolis Lazar Finances, that's about 5 or 6 million of freeboard we still have. So it's very possible to do, even in the situation now. If we take $800,000, we'd have to raise that income tax to 1.7.5, 1.8 to offset the money for the county general. So it's not like it's not doable. We're not super popular, but
Probably not the,
Very unpopular.
well, let me finish, please.
Okay.
Neither are public hearings. We
Right.
go through and visit are not popular. So it's not about a popularity contest. None of it's popular. County government's not popular. Just saying I work here. But we have to do long-term, what we think is gonna work for the county, give us some flexibility, take some red tape off our back, because we're gonna continue doing with the three-person staff. This is why I looked into it. Because it's getting to the point in LaGrange County where the demographics have changed, will continue to change. And to be honest with you, I'm not interested in having 12 more public hearings next year, going through the same thing over again. Sam's workload gets heavier, where it gets heavier, mine gets heavier, and we're at a point where we either need to just, every one we turn on or turn one off. And we're just gonna be rotating, which is fine. I can do that. But when somebody calls us, I need something done quicker, get it done, well, get in line, buddy. The line's long, step towards the back, we'll get to you in 5 or 6 years. Serving the public as a public official, I don't think that's a good route to have. Like, well, take a seat, buddy, like at the DMV where you pick a number and you sit down. I want to be able to jump on these things, move faster.
He's
and
right.
keep a small staff, and
You know.
cost low. That's my goal in this. And we'd be collecting, I looked at today, we collect about $865,000 a year on our current drain assessments. Those would all go off. If we change them to collect $850 a year, which is basically the same amount, spread out differently. I understand that. But I can use it on the whole platform of LaGrange County. I don't specifically use it in these watersheds. So it gives me some flexibility, gives us the ability to do things that I think need to happen in today's day and time. Back in 1980, I mean, it didn't really matter because you didn't have any people in the county. But, see how the county's changed? It's changed a lot since I've been here in 8 years, drastically. So we have different states and their tax, including the works, and it is possible. We do have that 5 to 6 million freeboard in the income tax type thing. I think they're gonna save that because of SB one, whatever's gonna happen. Nevertheless, just because of the what if, shouldn't keep us from pursuing what we probably need to do. We live ourselves in fear, or we say, you know what, we need to support Zach in this, support the drainage board, support the surveyor's office. And it's not an easy decision. Everybody wants to make a decision because it's risky. But I don't think it's as much risk as what people think it is or say it is. And in the long run, once we build that fund, we'll reduce that 3 cents, what we thought, 3 cents per $1 cents bag,
Right.
down to 2, down to 1. Elkhart County operates on about 500 grand a year because they have 2.5 million they've accumulated over 30 years, and the interest is about 300 grand or whatever. So they're doing about the same amount of work we are, like about 500 grand a year.
Yeah, but they're not 20 years behind.
Correct. Correct.
But if we don't start now, we'll never get.
You'll never get to that point.
There's like
Yeah.
behind me. Okay, this is a way to try to put some more horsepower in the motor to get us running a little faster, or just more efficient, even more fuel efficient. At the same time, I think it needs to be visited. I'd like to exhaust all resources pursuing it. And if they say no, then I can say, you know what, that's fine.
You tried.
Give all I had for it and clear the state to try to do so. So it's not something I just quit and say, oh, well, we tried. No, I don't try and try to go the whole line. So I just want to give an update on that. If you have more questions, the council's next presentation, I think we're going to talk to Monday. This next Monday or Monday, December, I haven't really talked to the agenda yet, so.
So I would just, could I make a comment? I would just like to reiterate that it's not a new tax. It's a different way of collecting the assessments on the drainage fees. And the other thing is that people don't live in watersheds now. Things have changed so much, even since this board has began with, we've got natural gas, we've got 3 different fiber optic companies, sewer. And so Merv could attest that you could probably dig a half mile of ditch clean for about the same amount of time as it takes to work up by the road with all of those utilities in that right of way. So that is more than just the people's in that particular watershed burden to me. So it makes more sense to me because things have changed. I agree. 20 years ago, it was a different animal. And I struggled with this at first, saying the people who benefit from this tile, this drainage system, should be the ones to pay. But a lot of things have changed since then. And so to keep the cost of government down, because I think you said Noble County has like 6 employees in the surveyor's office. And I see how updating every plat every year on every drain that we have open could drive a person mad, right, Sam? I'm glad you're still sane.
And it's not just, it's not one key thing we're trying to get rid of here. There's a lot of legal ambiguities we have to deal with in the system we use now. There's a lot of, the public hearing process is very costly. It adds a lot of legal costs, that's hidden costs to stuff, because anytime somebody challenges something and they contact our attorney, then we have to contact our attorney, all of a sudden that legal hammer goes up and the council is always revisiting, well, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of money. It's like, some of these things, not saying it's a lot of legal stuff, but it won't be on a lot of individual public hearings of, dozen or 2 dozen a year, so,
Do you think, you talked to Senator Glick,
yes.
what was her
Said,
response?
shifting it completely outside the tax levy may not be a good idea. I agree with her. She said maybe we could pass it to give the counties the option. Like Elkhart County falls within the tax levy, we shouldn't require them also to have to look it outside. They're already in the tax levy. So give counties, the commissioners, the ability to choose, if we're going to go this route, give us the ability to locate it outside, since it doesn't follow the parameters of, I can buy a truck with it, we build a new building with it, buy an office furniture with it. This money comes in and it's directly for drain maintenance and reconstruction, and it's still overseen by the council and the drainage board. It's not like I get this pocket of money I go out and start spending to my friends. Actually, I have to plan out all these projects. The council has to look at these projects, and I ask for money each year from the council, from that fund, to spend on these projects. So if I'm asking for $1 million, I say, Zach, what do you plan on doing? I don't have a plan laid out each year, so it holds me accountable to ask for that money, and they can say, no, we're cutting back this year. They can't. They can say, we're going to do half those projects. So I give up a lot of some of my power to this from our power.
But they can't spend the money on anything else.
Right.
It can only be
It
used
can
on.
only be used on drainage,
Yes, correct.
but the council controls the fund.
Mhm.
So I still work within the council, still oversight, fully oversight government, almost too much sometimes just to get it done. That's where we're at on that. So I want to give you guys an update. I'm going for the council. it's kind of not looking promising. It's definitely the path to it, but who has the courage to help me get through that path? I'm a little leery, so. Yeah.
Well, and something else I'd like to share, I've talked to people in the county about going to a cumulative fund and everybody pays in, whether you're in a watershed or not. And
You're in that specific watershed, 'cause everybody's in a
Everybody's in a
watershed.
okay, but anyway, folks that don't pay into any drainage wherever, depending on where their property is located.
That currently turns on, watershed's not currently turns on.
Right, which probably hasn't been in 30 years.
It'll never happen.
Okay, so anyway, and they say, well, that's not right. I don't benefit from drainage, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, how many tiles, bridges, culverts do you drive over on your day-to-day daily commute or whatever you're doing? More than 15, I guarantee it. And the other thing is too, is they says, well, I shouldn't be paying for drainage issues, whether it be a bridge, culvert, tile, whatever, when I'm never around it. There's no other portion in the county that does that. And I said, okay, what about your county highway department? You paying taxes in that, and you might not see a pothole fixed on your road in 2 years. That's just how it goes.
It's not a perfect system. I don't agree with anything about it. I'm more for and against it, given the current demographics and the environment here in my drainage. And going forward, I go forward, I just can't be looking back at when I used to do things. Well, that's how I used to do it. We have to look forward and sitting down at the round table, then Elkhart County, Steve at the Elkhart County said, I don't know how you guys do it. That sounds miserable, horrible. Because all he ever has known is the food range money. He goes, we get projects together, we get it for council, we throw the money, we move it. It sounds like, wow, I don't work at Elkhart County. It seems like that's the place where I have to fight everybody all the time like this. So there's still drawbacks, but not near the drawbacks we have today with fighting public hearings. It's very stressful. I don't know if you guys have witnessed it, but some of these people that we have public hearings and it's a large sum of money, they come in, they talk, they're not very happy about it. I mean, you go out and see them at the restaurant in public, they don't talk to you. They won't say hi. They actually curse you. And it's like, this isn't healthy for my mental health, physical health, and long-term use of like, I'm like, if this is the case, who's wanting public hearings? Because I want to get along with people still. Not saying people will be mad, but it's less mad when it's everybody's paying and that's just the way it is. We're not sitting there individually pointing people out and calling people out and sending notices in the mail anymore every time we want to turn something on. All the notifications thing that's put together. There's a lot of work that goes in each one of those public hearings. Way burdensome. And I'm just about the point where we can't turn anymore on without having to turn some off. And then every time I get on, I dread it because we get all these phone calls coming in. I'm not watershed, I don't benefit, all the same excuses. I don't have any money. Everybody has the same excuses. How many times do you want to hear those things? I've heard them enough, in my opinion, but you guys continue to hear them, we'll keep hearing them. So.
No, I want you to keep doing what you're doing because I think it's a great idea.
I like the fun. I like what he's doing. I think it's worth us pursuing. And yes, there are people who find a lot of things wrong with it. My only question I had for Zach, and he's working on it, are the towns to agree with it. I hope they do. I'm hoping they agree with Zach and go along with it. That was the only question I had for Zach. He gave a nice presentation.
And if anybody, I should be most concerned about towns, but I'm not concerned at all because I have a couple options and plans to present to them. And if the council's not behind me, then they don't use to get the towns involved. The council
Right.
says, Zach, do this, I'm going to get the towns involved. Towns are my least of my worries because at the end of the day, I prefer to not pay, just vacate the drains within the town limits.
Let them handle it.
Let them handle it. It would take a huge burden off my back. All these big storm drains, Bar Kyle, Sarah Davis, the flea
Fly
market,
Creek.
that all goes away. So they call their flooding issues, call the town manager who makes a lot more money than I do, and have them fix it. They have BLZ engineers. They have way more specialist resources to hire a third-party engineering firm to come in and redesign that storm drain system. More than my specialists, even our county regular storm drains. I mean, so I'm all for it in that sense because I'm like, now I have reason to vacate those, saying that they're not paying in, so we're getting rid of them. And the only one we keep would be Fly Creek to LaGrange, and that's not that expensive to maintain. So everybody's worried about the towns. I'm not worried. I don't think you guys should be worried about it.
And once
Fair enough.
they're not part of it, I mean, they'll probably come begging for help.
Right.
And
You're right.
Yeah, they will.
I want them to call the shot.
Um,
I like the system. I like what he's doing. I think it's well worth.
Well, and the thing
I'd
is
like to
too,
see
is
it.
how much faster you can get something done.
Exactly, have the money there, so Zach doesn't have. to-
Because right now, if you want to start a project on,
You have to borrow everything.
pick one, it's going to be 6 months before a shovel hits the dirt.
Well,
Minimum,
6,
minimum.
I guess it's about a year or two.
I was being optimistic.
2 years more realistic.
Well, that's even if you have money in the drain. If you don't have money in it, it ain't going to happen for 3 years.
I just want to give a debate on that. Commissioners, I don't know, didn't take a lot of interest in it. Kevin is, because he's been in the meetings, but the other two didn't seem to be understanding it, which is fine. They don't have to. Last thing I want to talk about, we awarded a bid 2 meetings ago, but the contractor got the bid. I told them to hold off just a little bit, because we're working for NDOT, some technicalities they want changed. But it is the Francis South Milford drain there at 3 and 700, where the tile sits right under the road edge.
It comes from Tri-State.
Comes from,
Northeast.
Yeah, the right there across from.
Feedback Farms, all drains down through there. We had a guy that did some log jam removal on that ditch that's disabled veteran. For that one.
Yeah.
Those houses, Feedback Farms, now that house like owns it. It drains from the lumber yard there down to Tri-State Hardwoods, goes into a tile shot right on the road. Basically in the
You
road
can, I can see that. I've been going on the elevator quite a bit. You can see the holes on it.
holes. Yeah, it's getting really bad. And every time it rains hard, it just causes more damage. It's a matter of time before the road falls in, washes down, plugs the culvert, road washes out, and everybody's like, what are they waiting on? So we've got a little aggressive with NDOT and the county highway because the road, 700's collapsing too. It's all
Say-
fall apart.
The county highway has mapped it and did a whole bunch of stuff to turn in
So
for the.
we got the bids back. I wanted to push the cost first. I county highway portion was like 38 grand. The NDOT portion was, I don't know, 38 grand or something like that. Ours was like 70 grand, a lot of money. We don't have that money in the account necessarily. I was willing to put it on a GI and then we'll have to have public hearing to get it back.
That'll be fun.
So the other thing I want to question, and this isn't popular because I work with these people, but in the drainage code, when a pipe is dilapidated and it falls in the right of way of the highway, the owners of the highway are required to pay for the replacement of it. This puts the full burden on the owners of the highway, which are the commissioners, which is the county highway, because it falls within there. And we were planning on pushing it out farther, so I didn't mind paying for it because it was cheaper. There's a big swale off cover with all the utilities over where there is cover. We got to put it back right where it's at because there's no other way of doing it. We can't change grade because the downstream pipes already got grade set. So we're gonna put it right back, let's park that lane out, put it back there and all be in the road right away. And it's gonna it's costing more than it would be in a farm tile situation because of the road, utilities, that corridor.
Now, hold on. Let me back you up. You said the right of way with the highway.
County highway.
Right. How far north? Because that tile is only 15 feet from the road.
On the-
That's running parallel along 700 South.
It's under the road, on the edge of it. It's like, part of it's like 2 foot off the road, one part of it's like right where the edge is.
So the tile that you want to change is in the whole right of way with the highway.
What's that?
So isn't this a highway thing?
Correct, it's a regulated drain. I'm working.
So that's kind of makes it sticky.
I'm working in coordination with the highway to get
Okay.
this intersection, that relocates the pipe, improving the pipe. I thought, I didn't mind paying for it because I thought we were gonna locate our tile, move it out of the right of way. That's my responsibility to pay for that. After seeing all the utilities and the lay of the land.
There's a lot. There's
I don't think it's possible without relocating every utility line out there.
there's phone, fiber,
Gas, sewer.
gas, yeah, and sewer. Everything's there.
So that's the section basically from 700 there, goes up to that pot, it runs right in the road right away. And then on the north, when you get towards 3, we're gonna bump it out and move it away from the intersection.
Mhm.
Because I know I can see
well,
just driving down 700 South, I can see 3 holes.
So what's the question? Is there a question? Or you
The
just
question is, you guys want me to pursue a public hearing to raise 70 grand? Or do you want me to ask the commissioners to pay for this because of their responsibility according to drainage code? That's my question.
Okay.
What do you guys want me to do? I work on you guys?
did you have you asked Theron? No.
I'm asking you.
Okay. No, I was.
Minuless Theron.
I just wondered if if it was in her budget or not. That's my question. Kevin?
I don't know if it's in her budget or not.
He's the owner of the highway, it's his decision.
What do you think, Kevin?
Commissioners can pay for it.
Pardon?
I think it should come to us.
Okay. Because how much of
It
this,
has to be done.
Oh,
it's,
There's no question, it has to be done.
is it cement, the existing tile that's there? Okay, because when I was looking at it, of course, I go by there a lot. And there is at least 3 holes that I can just see from a truck cab on the road. Not getting out, not putting feet in the grass, nothing.
stick your leg in there, your whole leg will disappear out of that tile.
Because what is it, 12 inch or is it bigger?
24 inch concrete.
Oh, it's 24.
Are you
Okay.
gonna upsize it?
I don't think you need to.
We're
Do you?
upsizing as much as we can because the downstream's 36, the pipe coming across 3 is 42. We're shoving a 42-inch metal pipe into a 24-inch old concrete. And it blows it on the ground. Part of the problem, they've overloaded it. And then whenever it can't handle it, goes across the top. And it's like, I got a picture of it being a river. You could kayak down through a foot and a half of water down through there.
Yeah, through Jeremiah's yard. Yeah, we can.
Now, yeah, because there's, and then in that,
It
where
doesn't topple 700 yet, which is amazing.
used to be wick fab, but there's only, where it goes through that grass, there's only like what, foot and a half of cover there? There's not much cover there at all. I mean, I wouldn't do anything but mow over it.
Fab.
Yeah.
It's right, just west of 3, just
On the north side.
Yeah.
But
It's a
so you
mess.
guys want, Kevin wants me to go and ask the commissioners for the money.
okay. Good.
Just because I was planning on funding it because it's outside the right of way, there's a legal obligation to put anything outside the road right of way. After figuring out that we can't relocate it all in the road right of way and the cost went up that high, I feel it's hard to put that burden on the landowners.
You got a motion? We have that in a motion, please. To take it to Kevin or Kevin. Commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that we have Zach take this. I don't know what the tile is. The tile there on 3 to the commissioners. All those in favor? Motion carries.
Last thing, same thing, you guys want to go real quick, this is just, she gives me this one from here, this is just the stickers and things you have on. Currently, the ones that have positive, ones that have negative, and we set up, and much just for you guys to review and look at. Some are, we're putting it down, we're doing a lot of work, some are pretty heavy in the red, but we do have activated funds, I knew we were gonna go red on those, but, I don't mind paying them over 3, 1 to 6 years pay off, is the more I like, but, we will, when we bid these things out, we don't always know what's gonna cost. I hate to take it back knowing that we do it all done while they're there and conditions are right, so. Took a little more interest on some of them, but you guys have any questions on those, or should you guys review things like that?
Thank you.
You guys usually bring up, still needing a list of every drain needs to be labeled as vacated, maintenance.
I think we started, yeah. It'll take, Corey's been working on it, and you want to email it to you or the board or both?
I mean, they need it.
Okay,
I'd love
we'll
to
try to have
see
it by
it.
next meeting.
You'll have that done by lunch, right, Corey?
Sure.
Lunch on what day, though?
What day?
So the point, it made a big justification for the point in this, that's how we, anyway. We do have, 2 board appointments. Lynn, you're up for election, we just got started. I assume you're still wanting to, continue.
Yeah.
So I'll remember that message to the commissioners when they appoint Todd, I believe is informed us he's stepping
I'll
down.
be sliding right out of here.
Including term limits, so we'll have a vacation,
Oh, you're on term limits? You're limited out?
I limit myself.
Oh,
Just as effective.
So, we're gonna give, we've been calling the applicants that were here before, so we'll give those back to commissioners, but, I think we at least have a handful, but if you guys know anybody else that would like to sit on this board, you can give an application. Since we have some, I won't go out and push it, but, if you have an area that's underrepresented and you guys know somebody, then let me know, I'll give an application. But I go around for days trying to find people to apply and, no luck sometimes, so I'm just gonna give up on that to certain points.
So what's the process if you can't get anybody?
No, so we
We have some, we have people.
Okay, good.
Commissioners have been complaining that it's not very representative of the county applications, some of these people, it's favored from one area of the county. And so I said, I don't approve it. You guys do, you guys do whatever you want. So
if you don't have an applicant, you don't have an applicant.
From, if that's where they're from, that's where they're from. There's nothing we can do about
So
it. I don't complain.
we have other people. Kevin's one of the 3 commissioners, and he's not complaining about that section. So, and council people who are complaining about it, they're not appointing other people, so, that's all I have for you guys.
Okay, anything else good?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We adjourn. You'll be here in December, right?
So you got one more meeting?
It feels like it. I might skip.
I might skip.